I'm alive. Joined by Shakira. How you doing?
Good.
Thank you for joining me. So we're here in the middle of Cork.
This is called the Peace Park.
Peace Park.
Yeah.
Perfect place for two fighters to come and chat. So we're just about to touch on how did you... What is it? You're saying your taekwondo is when you started off?
Yeah, so like my dad was the one who kind of introduced me to martial arts. He was mad into Bruce Lee.
Nice.
So then he put his two daughters into taekwondo.
That sounds like what I'd be like into it. You're doing this.
Yeah. And I kind of did that for like around 15 years, so it was a good part of my life.
Yeah.
I did a bit of travel with it as well. It was unreal. Got to see a lot of like European countries and fight there and meet some cool people.
Amazing.
Fight some cool people.
Yeah. Kick them in the face.
A few times. Kind of hard to kick people in the face.
It's true. Well, I suppose at your height it's harder than for me. For me, it's a lot less of a lift. Yeah, I mean, I started off in karate when I was like 12, I think, 11 or 12. But I think it was kind of what set me down the road into doing jiu-jitsu eventually, because I still really vividly remember asking my instructor, like, what if a guy grabs you? He's like, oh, you do like ridge hand, punch and kick or whatever. I was like, now what if he really grabs you? Because like my brother is like 4 years older, and he's a fisherman. Like even in 13 he was like fishing, so he's a really like big strong dude. I was like, yeah, if he grabs me, like I'm not just like punching him off me.
Yeah, like
he's just
knife
there.
hand strike.
Yeah, I was like,
You're
how
not
do
gonna
I
do that.
really get rid of him? And I
Yeah.
was like, after that I was like, no, there's definitely some holes in this.
Yeah. Yeah, so I suppose the same kind of happened to me. Like I was in boxing then after taekwondo. I started boxing like around 5 years ago, and then I was like, there has to be more to like these arts than just
hitting people.
striking. Yeah. Like, and just BJJ is a whole different world, like, isn't it? It's amazing.
So different. And it's like, yeah, it was the one kind of joy that I've had with martial arts that like I've never, I suppose, I don't know how to say it right, but like I've never been just like, oh, just this one thing will do everything. And a lot of people are like, oh, all I need is boxing, kickboxing, whatever. And to me, it's like, I want to like learn them all. Like, as I
Yeah.
know there's bits in every one, and it's like, all right, this might not suit what I need to do for this, but like, I love you ever hear Baz Rutten talking about like, someone came into his gym, like a ninjutsu guy, and it was like, oh, but if you're doing a chokehold, what happens if I try poke you in the eyes? And he's like, okay, try it. And the guy's like, what? He's like, yeah, I'll break your neck and you try poke me in the eyes. He's like, don't forget, I can still poke you in the eyes. It's like, yeah, he's right. Like, you know, you can still take parts of those systems and use them in jiu-jitsu, but
Yeah.
it's like the rules we have don't allow you to do that shit.
Yeah, that's so true. I never looked at it that way.
Yeah, it's like, so I've found like a lot of other weird little arts that have little bits you can take out of, and it's just usually how they're trained. Like taekwondo is a perfect example. Like they train in a very specific way, and then you add in leg kicks, for example, and it's just like,
Yeah,
what
like
have I been
we would
doing?
not be able to take those.
Yeah, yeah, because like you can tell when like a taekwondo person comes into a gym straight away. You're like, okay, they're bouncing back and forth. You're like,
Yeah.
yep, just kick them in the legs. They're not gonna like this.
Yeah, it took me so long to stop that bouncing around
Yeah.
and change my stance into like a more boxing type stance.
It was almost like a real problem for me because I was so tall and long that like that kind of real long karate stance suited me, and it was somewhat similar to the boxing stance I'd use, but there's a lot of like bad habits I had as a result of it. And then when you just have like a stocky dude square up and chase you, you're like, oh god. And then so you've boxing the past 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Nice.
This will be my third year going for the nationals. Trying out for it, see if I can get an all win this time.
Nice.
Be a little bit more skillful. Yeah, I've been like back and forward with boxing for ages because I've been like, is it for me?
Yeah.
Is it not for me? Because like the community is just so different, and I feel like such an outsider when I'm there, and it's really hard to train and give your time to something when you feel like an outsider in your sport.
For sure.
But I kind of was searching for my why for such a long time. Why am I doing this? Why? Why should I kind of risk my body and my life really if I'm going into the ring?
For sure.
So I was kind of like, I am from the north side, which is not like it's like socio-economically deprived part
It's
of
like
Cork.
every city in Dublin,
Yeah.
not just Dublin,
That has
but like every city in
boxing, like-
Ireland is like the north side, and
Yeah.
then it's just synonymous with poor people and boxing. Like,
Yeah. So I kind of feel like they're my people, like,
yeah,
and I'm like, if I can kind of, it sounds weird, like, but it's like, that's kind of like a deeper meaning. Why? Because it's like I'm doing it for my nan, I'm doing it for my uncle,
The
doing it for
community
my family.
connection
Yeah,
there,
even
like.
the community, because like obviously I'm still like warmly welcomed into my community, even though I'm totally different to them.
Sure.
Do you know? And it's kind of just, I don't know, it's nice. It's a nice feeling when you kind of think of that reason why.
Yeah, I mean, it's like boxing. I find is such a unique thing in this country. Like even where I live, this council like flats right behind my house, and like the nearest sports club is a boxing club built into the downstairs one. It's like just old school grotty boxing club with like tiny little ring, and you're like, it's like something out of like old school Rocky film or something. It's like, yes.
That's exactly like
Yeah.
my gym. Like, and it's so nice to go there.
And it's so cheap for kids to go and do
Yeah,
as well. Like.
but I can actually kind of give them a bit of like what I know as well, like from the movement world,
For sure.
to like boxers that are just getting like, oh, do a few burpees there, do a few press ups, you know.
Yeah.
So it's nice to give them like some gymnastic wrist stretches, and they're like,
Yes.
whoa,
My wrist feels so much better.
yeah, and they're like, Shakira, how do you do those press ups on the backs of your wrist? And I was like, if you do that now, that will help, you know. So then they actually trust me. They're not like, she's a total hippie.
Yeah.
She actually does know what she's doing.
There's a boxer I was working with, like a kickboxer now, but he I remember like asking him, I gave him like some wrist stretches and wrist strengthening stuff, and he was like, oh, how your wrist feel now? He's like grand, and I was like, are they sore though? He's like, I haven't really noticed, and I was like, perfect. It's with fighters, it's like unless they're in pain, in which case they're just like, they try to ignore it. So if like they feel all right, they don't really, that doesn't register.
Yeah.
It's like, so they feel better, and he's like, I guess so.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting concept actually, is that we can block out a lot of pain.
Yeah.
I think that's, just throwing this out here, but I think that like we probably are a lot like mentally and physically stronger than an average person who hasn't.
I think it's like,
who doesn't take that pain.
I've been exploring that concept a lot lately, especially with doing like the Wim Hof stuff. That like, I think a lot of physical responses, even like what we consider like uncontrollable ones, like a reaction to cold water, like I think it can be a trained response. And just like pain, like, you know, no one likes getting punched in the face, but I know a lot of boxers who, like, unless they get punched in the face, they don't want to fight.
Yeah.
And once they do, it's like, all right, let's go. Now it's
That's
go
exactly
time.
what happened to me. Like last week I got a smack in the face and I was like, I could kind of sigh out that relief that like, it's actually not that bad.
Now we're gonna
Now get back
rumble.
in. Yeah, I needed it because I hadn't been punched in like 9 months. It was all just pad work.
Yeah.
So I needed it and I was like, yeah, it's not that bad. I can do this again.
Because I mean, I've had like I always find it funny. My shins, like, I have loads of scars up and down my shins from like years of Muay Thai. It was all like bumpy and lumpy, like you can feel up and down there. There's so many lumps. Like, and it's like I shout at people like, what? And like if I like just sometimes when I'm waiting for a bus, I might like just be kicking a tree or a pole or something, just messing around. Not like hard or whatever. Not like I'm a hard lad, but just like just kind of messing about. And then I see someone that like just stub their shin on the edge of a sofa or something. They fall to the floor like,
Yeah.
And you realize like how much of a like trained response it is. And, you know, you get used to hitting stuff. You're like, oh,
Yeah, it's like
all right.
a soft population even.
Yeah.
Like even when I see people like just grabbing like a yoga mat, sometimes I'm like, why do you need a yoga mat to do a press up? Like seriously, come on.
So,
Like,
yeah,
you
like,
have to put your body
so many
through
times
some...
I say to people, it's like, you're making this more difficult for yourself.
Yeah.
Like a slippy mat on the floor. Like, you don't really need this.
Yeah.
Unless you have dodgy knees, you're going to be all right.
Or like when people just have never built up like calluses on their hands and they just...
Yeah, that's... Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but we always get that conversation, especially people doing calisthenics. And they're like, oh, what gloves do you use? Or what thing do you use to protect your hands on? I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
Like I have like
What shoes do you wear? What belt do you use?
I have like a soft
nothing.
nail file in my bag, like, you know, like little one for your fingers and stuff. That's all I use for my calluses. I just like file them
I'm
down,
terrible, I
sand
don't
them
file
down.
mine down.
I'd say something there. This little like soft nail file.
It's what?
I just use a soft nail file and file them down.
Oh yeah.
So I have like I don't know, this is my bag of tricks. It's in there somewhere. Skins, GoPro. Yeah, it's in there somewhere.
I'll invest.
But yeah, it's all like £2 little quid, but it just stops them tearing because like whenever you get a corner, especially if you do rings, and it catches and tears real bad, or like barbell work.
Mine won't tear anymore. Well, I probably can't even feel it anymore. I'm just like,
don't
"What?
notice.
Can't feel it."
Yeah, you should say skills too high. Because yeah, I mean that's like I think gymnasts can be real bad for it, and I've seen some real bad ones, especially like high pole work and stuff, where they come off and like I remember seeing someone like their whole palm skin
Yeah, I've seen them.
came off, and I was like, oof.
I actually worked with them a little bit when I was in America. I did like an internship in a college, and it was when I realised I was like, if I ever have kids, I would not put them into gymnastics because of their bodies. They're in such chronic pain.
Yeah, I remember someone saying to me, it's like, put them in until like, I think it was like, they were like 10 or 11, because that's when they start competing properly, and then it's like, then just take them straight out.
Yeah.
Because it gets
There's no fun, like
intense.
it's not like it's like straight into it.
It's
Yeah.
a full-time job. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was, a few buddies of mine train kids gymnastics and stuff, and it's like the kids will train 30 to 40 hours a week on top of school. And you're like, that's like a full-time job on top of school days. Like,
That's madness. Like,
yeah, like,
what the hell?
like, I don't know anyone, even like hardcore gym rats are like, yeah, I train like 40 hours a week.
Yeah, but all they're probably doing is like bicep curls
Yeah,
and
and these little kids are
tricep
like
dips.
doing iron crosses and shit. Like, come on!
Gym rat. There's somebody, that's funny actually, I was in a coffee shop there the other day, and by accident he called me a gym rat, and I really took offence to it. I was like, do not stereotype me.
See, I think that's really, like, I was actually chatting.
I was like, I rarely spend time in the gym actually.
I was chatting to someone about this on the way down. I listened to Neil deGrasse Tyson on Rogan the other day, and he was saying that, like, yes, I'm an atheist, but I don't call myself an atheist anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm not an atheist. And he's like, what? He's
You don't
like,
need a label.
because that's what people immediately have a label, and they're like, oh, this is what those people are like.
Yeah.
And it's like, for you, you're like, I'm not a gym rat, I don't have to go and do curls and all, but like, for that person, it might just be, oh, you spend a lot of time in the gym.
Yeah.
Which, like, for you is probably true. Like, but you're like, I'm not that, like, that's not me. I'm not,
Yeah.
like, there in my bright neon tops doing curls and
Yeah.
neck and protein shakes.
But even at that, I actually don't spend that much time in the gym.
Yeah.
Like, I'll coach, and then I'll leave, or else I'll
stuff.
do my training and then leave, or else I'll go to the park. Like in the summer, I was bringing in so many clients out because, like, why not? When do we get a summer like this?
Yeah, and
You know,
a
like-
country that's like serious problem with lack of vitamin D. Like,
Yeah, and like some people would just be like, no, I need to go to the gym for 1 hour. No, you don't. You can find like amazing trees to climb, or hang your rings on, or there's benches over there for a few pistol squats or whatever you want.
I mean, it's probably like every podcast I've done. It's always talking to people about like how play is so important, and how like adults just, as soon as you say play, it's like, oh, it's not serious. Then it's like, no, play can still be really serious.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to incorporate a lot of fighting monkey practice actually into like my classes and one-on-ones, because like people are forgetting that how much fun we can have,
Yeah.
and how much actual movement and quote by quote fitness you can get out of it.
I mean, it's like I've used, like, no, I need to, well, not need to, I really do want to dive deeper into their stuff, but like, I've used similar stuff that I've learned from other martial arts, even with like pro fighters, because you have this weird conundrum where you have like people at the very beginning, they're too scared to get hit, so you kind of have to like teach them to play to get comfortable with getting hit.
Yeah.
And then pro fighters, you gotta like scale them back from always wanting to hit people to like, okay, you can have fun and like learn skills, like we were chatting about just before this podcast,
Yeah.
where like you're always like, oh, I gotta go and it's like, you don't really learn very well that way now,
Yeah, you
'cause
need
you're
like the
just-
learning phase
Yeah.
first.
It's a skill. It's like chatting to Andy Myers, hat tip to him, the other day about
Andy.
like how so many people, like handstand's such a great example where people think they can just brute force their way through it and just do loads of reps, and it's like, you can't like out rep a handstand.
Yeah.
It's a skill thing, like you just have
Like
to
I still
accept it.
haven't gotten mine, and I've literally been trying for the last 3 years, but every time I'll try, I'll put so much effort into it, and then it'll be boxing. So
Yeah.
it's just like, my arms cannot hold me up,
like
I'm
this.
punching too many punches.
And then like I was chatting to someone about this the other day. She had an interview for a gym job, and I was like oh, it's just, I don't know, handstands came up, and I was like, yeah, but it's not really a valuable skill. Like, when is it going to save your life to do a handstand or something? But it's like, why does that matter? And like, I was like, why does that matter? It's really fun, you know. Like, you know,
He actually thought that you
no,
needed...
I said it to him. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's not like a really valuable thing. You're not gonna build. I don't know. If you want to be a bodybuilder, like having a handstand or whatever,
Yeah.
it's not a useful skill. Or like be a boxer or a fighter, handstand's not useful as such. But it is really damn fun.
But
It's
you
like,
could
why do you
probably
care?
like perceive the world in a different way because you're actually just
You're
upside
upside
down.
down.
You're getting a feel for the ground, and
Everything's inverted.
actually, like, even you might have more of a connection with people who
Yeah.
can do handstands.
Oh yeah, when you're
Or, like,
around like
there's, like, a
other hand
new
balancers,
handstand.
you're immediately like, oh.
Wow, look at their handstand.
I think we should do some handstands after this. As soon as this podcast's over, let's do some handstands. Yeah, because it's that thing. It's like skill work is not. I said like probably one of the most impactful things was one of Pavel Satsulin's books. Like I read, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, and he's like, "Strength is a skill." And I just remember that quote burned into my brain. And it's like he's right. Like
I
no
like
matter
that.
what exercise you do, it's a skill.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that.
But like, let's say you're an Olympic weightlifter. That was the one that really like cemented it into my brain because I did my level 1 Olympic weightlifting course a while back.
I did that too.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they were just, like just the amount of skill you realise that was required to it.
Yeah.
After doing that, I was like, I'm probably not going to do much Olympic lifting.
I actually did compete in Olympic weightlifting.
Nice.
Yeah, for
There's a really good gym across the road.
3
from me, but
years.
When I botched that wrist, I wasn't able to like snatch or do
Oh, yeah.
stuff too well.
Yeah, I did it when I was in college actually, and
Nice.
crazy. I was doing Olympic weightlifting and boxing, but it
Yeah.
was that age where you could just do two sports
just
at
burst
once,
into it,
like, and just be absolutely. I just used to do crazy ass training.
Yeah.
Like I'd do like 3 hours of Olympic weightlifting and then do 2 hours of boxing after it. It's just like I could not do that now. Like
And then go have
that
a bag of
amount of
chips and go
volume.
home.
Yeah, that should be grand
I
then.
know.
Just go home then, sure, do a bit of study, go to bed.
I used to be like that when I was younger as well, because like I used to go to college. Like a lot of the days I'd have like, you know, lecture in the morning, lecture in the evening, and a big gap. So I'd like go to college, go train, go back to college, go train again, do like 2 or 3 sessions, and then go home. And it was like eating shit food and like traveling loads and getting barely any sleep. Now
And
looking
you still
back
just
at it, I'm
do
like,
it.
yeah, that was just every day.
Yeah.
And on weekends I'd like be traveling to any gym I could find that was open. You're like, oh, you guys open? It's I don't know. It's like the whole MMA jiu-jitsu scene has just changed so much in the past. I don't know. You sound like such an old fogey, and you're like, oh, it wasn't like that in my day.
In what way has it changed?
Like,
do you think?
just the amount of gyms, the amount of people. Like that was the biggest impact for me. Was that like when I started, I remember counting it. There was like 6 or 7 gyms in the country. Like that included
Jeez,
like
in
the
the
north.
country. That's
and,
mad.
Like the entire country. And now like from where I live, I could walk to more than that.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that actually. Yeah, it's
And it's
huge influx, isn't there?
And even like one of the gyms I used to train with, Crazy Baja, shout out to Chris Poe. Amazing coach, amazing teacher. Like he's a PE teacher for I think like secondary kids or junior kids or something. But anyhow, he's like all he does is teach people like exercise, and then goes like walks from his school, does jiu-jitsu, walks home, and then that's his life. Like, but like we used to train in this dingy little like yoga studio that was maybe like 10 foot by 10 foot with like a tiny window, and it would like there's no heaters in it, so it would just fog up.
Yeah.
And like from me to you, which is like what 2 feet, you couldn't see the person. It was that like steamy, and it would be like so dingy and sweaty. And now he has like his own lovely like upstairs gym in the middle of like really nice area and all.
It's
like,
upgraded.
yeah, it's just like the whole thing's changed completely. I mean, like SVG is probably the best example. Now I know like see Connor helped them blow up,
Yeah.
but like they were training in an old garage like back in the day, and then a few years later they're in this massive like ex-car showroom with like thousands of square feet.
Yeah, it's definitely the way forward, isn't it?
But then again, I mean, some of the best gyms I've ever been to have been little dingy halls. I think boxing's a great example of
Yeah,
that.
boxing is just like my coach is always saying, "Oh, don't worry about the blood on the mat." And I'm like, I don't care. There's like blood all over the place and just pure, just rocky type gym,
Yeah.
like, you know, really dirty, but it doesn't bother
You
me
see,
at
like,
all.
Like the Cubans and stuff in their gyms, and it's just old school dirty gym, but
Yeah.
some of the best boxers
Yeah,
in the world coming out
exactly.
there.
You don't need anything fancy. Like, all you need is your gloves and a skipping rope and a bag.
Like, once you have a decent coach, then the rest is in the bag. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of coaching, how do you get into that?
So I kind of started when I was in Taekwondo, which as soon as you get your black belt, like, you're kind of told really to kind of look after the lower belts. But I was an absolute crap coach, and like I just didn't know what I was doing. But I
Yeah.
think, like, looking back on it now, it's still a good experience, even though I was absolute crap. Like, I had no preparation. I just go in and just do whatever. But I was
do
only
something.
like 16, so I suppose it's
Nice.
still good enough to get in that experience
Yeah.
when I was like 16. And then after that, after I did my degree in sports science, I started in Ackley.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like personal training with like small groups. And it was like a mix of like strength training and movement training and gymnastics, but it was kind of a bit more precise and a bit more like scientific. But now I'm working for myself, so I kind of get to do whatever I want. It's great.
Whatever you want,
I
wherever
love
you
it.
want.
I love it. So yeah, I work in like a variety of places at the moment. I feel so lucky. I'm working in East Cork in a place called Ballymaloo. It's like organic gardens, so it's just such a beautiful place to work.
Make some
Even
serious
just
relish.
going there, it's so nice. And I do mostly personal training there. And I work from Cafe Move. Shout out to Robbie from
Hey,
Cafe
Robbie.
Move. I do a few classes there, and I just recently started kind of like a women's strength training class. I do a lot of kind of one-on-ones, and then I also work with a group of kids called the Rebel Wheelers.
Nice.
Just not very often, maybe like once a month, but they're just amazing to be around.
Awesome.
Yeah, great variety of people, really.
Yeah, lady strength. That's something we need more of.
Yeah. Oh, and I've worked in a few schools as well. I like to keep my Irish going, so I like to go around to a few coloshes and
nice.
teach a bit of movement trí Gaeilge.
That's cúpla focal.
Yeah.
The movement as Gaeilge.
Movement as Glúiseacht as Gaeilge.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's yeah, we were chatting about this earlier. It's like it's really hard to define what it is we do because like you say PT, it's like I'm not a PT.
Yeah.
Then you say like I teach movement, but it's like that sounds so pretentious. And you say
Yeah.
like an arsehole, and then it's like
I actually always think about this because I'm like, I want to know what to say to people because people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, well... But then I'll like go back and say my whole background so that they kind of have a better idea of what I do.
give them your backstory.
Yeah.
And
I
make
think
fitness.
it's kind of necessary, like, isn't
Yeah.
it? 'Cause
I think a
otherwise-
large part of what like coaches like yourself do, it's not just a single faceted thing. Like you're not, you know, like a kind of what people would think about with your generic personal trainer. It's like you're not just bringing someone into the gym and going like lift those weights, go for your run and go home. It's like
Yeah.
there's so many other little weird things,
Yeah.
and, like skill work and
Like even thinking about their social factors as well, like how social they're getting within the session. Like I'm always thinking about that also, like even with, say one of my younger clients, she's like 12, and I'm always trying to think about other ways where she can communicate better through just even one session a week with each other. You know, those different factors as a
even
coach.
something as simple
'Cause
as you're
a
saying is
teacher.
like going out and getting sun in the park. Like
Yeah.
stuff that people don't think about with their training. Like, you're like that's
Yeah.
really important.
Or even showing her that you can train in any environment. It doesn't have to be a gym.
Yeah, I mean that's why I got so heavily into movement stuff as such and kind of calisthenics and gymnastics because I was really goddamn poor and didn't have money to go to a gym. So
Yeah.
it's like, all right, I got to learn how to get strong without equipment. So it's
That's
like-
really cool.
And my house is tiny, like an old little like workman's cottage sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like that's actually how I started off was what's it, the convict condition, all the like prison workouts.
What, really?
Because it was like the same sort of space I had to work out in, so I was like, this is perfect. It's like exactly.
Were you
enough room.
actually in a prison?
No, but might as well have been. In my soul. Yeah, so it was like that was the stuff that really helped me to get through. Like, all right, like even if I have a tiny space, I can still do stuff.
Yeah,
and then
that's so cool.
you do the movement stuff, and you're like, oh, I have like loads of space now. And I was like, went and did capoeira and all that stuff, and like, you're like, okay, now I have like room to move about and do all this weird shit. And it's like you show it to people. It's like, yeah, you don't need loads of fancy equipment. Like,
Yeah, exactly. You don't even need your rings, actually. Like,
Yeah.
I've thought about that. I was like, oh, will I bring my rings? But no.
if you're lucky and you find a good branch, you're fine. I mean, one of the ones that I've done a fair bit is just bring like an old jiu-jitsu belt with me. Purely because I can throw it over stuff and do pull-ups from it, or I can
Pretty cool.
do rows and stuff, or even if I can find a branch, I can tie stuff to it and then do weight and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't
wow.
thought about that, actually. That's kind of cool.
Because that was like someone gave me an old, like, you know, a dip belt, like a weighted dip belt. But like up until that point, I've just been using a jiu-jitsu belt because like you can hang a person off of it. So I was like, I can definitely handle like
Yeah,
you
a
know.
little 5 kg or 10
Yeah,
kg.
it's like if you have like even 40 kilos on it, it's like that's a lot less light than like that
Yeah.
like angry Polish dude who weighs 80 kilos hanging out of it.
I suppose it's just a product, really, isn't it? Like even just a weighted belt.
It's just people want like the fancy trendy thing,
Yeah.
and like the stupid training masks and all
Yeah.
that shit.
Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
I have this all these fancy
God, I never
equipment,
fell
like-
into that.
Yeah, I just as soon as I saw them, I was like, okay, interesting. And I looked
Yeah.
at the science, was like, okay, there's
Yeah,
none
that's
there.
the thing. I think when you have like a good look at science and you understand science, that you can cut out a lot of the bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really lucky. Like, I started off, like, I got a degree in computer science, which was god awful, but like, it taught me a lot about how to assess things. And then, like, my girlfriend does physiology, so I learned so much about the science world through her, with a doctorate in it. And like, once you understand the ins and outs of it, and you're like, okay, this is like, you learn how to look at science and read papers, and you're like, okay, this is just fucking bullshit.
That's class. Your girlfriend probably teaches you so much about like
It's-
in-depth physiology.
It's funny that like because of the stuff I do, I end up knowing a lot more about stuff. But there's certain things I can ask her and be like, "What's this thing mean?" But it's more interesting to see like how the science world works, because you think of scientists as like these really smart, amazing people in lab coats hidden away in these labs, like up in the Swiss Alps or something. And you find out it's just like regular people like you or me who
Yeah.
wake up tired and hungover on a Monday morning and are like, "Oh, I've got to do this fucking experiment again. It's gonna take 12 hours, and I'm really tired. I'll just put that in there." And then like you realize how much crap science there is. Like
Oh,
there's crap work
so
in
much.
every sectors
Yeah.
of the world, and you're like, okay,
That's only when
they
you
fuck
work
up
in it
too.
that you realise it.
Yeah, and then
like,
you hear the
isn't it?
realities of it. You're like, it's like, you know, someone messes up their paperwork in an office job, but you know they mess up their paperwork in a lab, and it could cost someone like 30 grand
Yeah.
for like samples or something. And you're like, shit. It's such an interesting. It's so interesting to know like what the field is like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was chatting to someone about that recently. Where like, I went to a workshop last year with like loads of coaches who I'd like admired for years, and it was such a great moment for me to be like, oh yeah, they're just like lads, like they're just regular people. Because
that's
you're
what I-
immediately like, oh, I'm holding these people to a really high standard, and then you meet them, and you're like, oh yeah, they're just like me. Like
Yeah.
they're really great at certain things. They don't have no idea about other things, and like, you know, they're humans.
Yeah.
I was actually chatting to a guy recently about that. He's working with a really high level fighter at the moment, and he was like, yeah, one of the nicest things to work with him and be like, oh yeah, he's just another person.
Normal person,
yeah,
yeah.
he's like, you know,
You're
he
not
has
looking
the,
at
he's the
them
same
in a certain
problems
way.
that you and me have. He said he just has a bit more money, and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, ah, yeah.
Yeah, because I started studying underneath this online movement university. Have you heard about
Yeah,
it?
I was in it for the first few months, and
Oh
then
yeah. Class.
I was House of Fire.
I'm House of Wind. But yeah, like, do you know the way I would highly regard the three mentors in it?
Yeah.
And then I'm just chatting away to them like on Skype, and they're just like, I'm just calling them a langer, like, and they're delighted.
I
You know,
saw
they're just
that.
these
It's like-
ordinary
it's like-
people. They're just these ordinary people, you know. And
Yeah, you find, and like that was one of the real eye-opening things. Like shout out to John Young for that. Like one of the videos he put up of just like some of his own like troubles of being a trainer and things that he's gone to, and you're like, fuck, like yeah. I mean, he's this guy that he's like ultimate man crush for me.
I think
Like,
everybody's
the stuff that he
crush.
does,
Everybody's
everyone wants
crush.
his tips, but when you see him move and the stuff he can do, you're like, this man's amazing. And he's like comes across, and everyone I know has met him and said he's such a lovely dude. And then you see the video of like, oh yeah, here's like the problems I have, here's the things I worry about, and you're like, yeah, it's like he's human. You know, it gets so difficult with social media that like we see everyone's highlight reel, we see all the
Yeah.
amazing shit they do, and not
Yeah.
all the crap that they have to go through to get there. Like, I think
Yeah, I think it's really important actually to speak like a human, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Because
why I
it-
love doing these podcasts. You
Yeah.
sit down with someone like yourself for a long period of time and be like, hey, like, what's
I'm a
the
human.
shit that you
you're
had
a
to go
human.
through to do this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting to like open up, and I actually would open up a lot more this year on my even my social media than before, because I think it's so important not to put up that like your whole life is just this positive.
I'm amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing I always try to put up every now and then is me fucking something up. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it happens a lot. Right?
We being like, I'm not able for social media today.
Yeah. I put up a clip of me doing a handstand the other week, and almost like, long story short, one of the back rooms that I do handstands in is maybe like that wide. It's the only one where I can kick up in, and it's like kicked up. Normally I have the light moved out of the way, and didn't. Almost kicked the light clean out the ceiling. I was like, man, was like, motherfucker. but it's like little shit like that where you fuck up, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and not every day is a perfect day, and not every training is amazing. Like, you always, it gets difficult, I think. I don't know about you, but like definitely being a coach where you're around other amazing people and you're always comparing yourself to them.
Oh yeah.
And then like
so hard.
a client goes like, oh, but you're so amazing at this thing. You're like, but I'm not though.
I think actually, I don't know if it's the same for men, but a lot of women like would have problems with like body issues, you know, because you're just constantly comparing yourself to all these women. Then you just need to get grounded again and realise this is a process, and this is an art, and it's so much more than what you look like or what anybody else is doing.
I think so many men do. I just think they hide it behind a wall of bravado and don't want anyone to know it. It's like I've been around so many fighters and like it's a weird one because you're around guys, like you're around shirtless, sweaty men all the time.
Yeah.
And then you're around people who are on some dubious supplements at times. And you're like, wow, that guy smokes like a fucking chimney and yet like is in amazing shape. But anyway, so I think like a lot of guys do get really self-conscious about it and really wary about it, and then just don't open up about it or talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of hide it behind the talk about it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I have like, a lot. I mean, I've always been like a tall, gangly dude, and then started to put some muscle on my frame because more out of like necessity than want. And you're like, oh, I'm actually like my body's looking better than it's ever done. And you're like, that guy's looks better.
Yeah.
And you're like, I gotta stop comparing myself to that guy because I'll never be that.
Yeah. I think it's when you step away from like how you look and just what you can do, it's much easier, isn't it?
Yeah, focus on the skills.
Yeah. And the skills.
Match skills. But I think it's a lot harder. No, I can't really speak for it, but I think it is a lot harder for women because it's always so many things are pushing it on you. Like you must look this way, you must be able to do this, you must do all these mad criteria that don't even make sense. And you're like, why not just be able to do the shit that makes you happy?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And you will, like, because I had, like, most girls, like, would have body issues and I did. And then once I just was like, just stop looking at, like, how you, at your appearance and just look past that. And then it gets so much easier.
Like we're saying about handstands, it's like if you're a 40-year-old housewife and you want to get fit, but you always want to learn how to do a handstand, go fucking learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, or if you think it's stupid or you look stupid. It's like, just do it. And like, I don't know, like, it's one thing that frustrates the hell out of me so much, or so many people are like, oh, but I'm going to be terrible at it. Like, yeah.
And so was
Everyone is terrible at it. Like, when you start, you're always terrible at it. No one just woke up and was like, I'm amazing at this thing.
Yeah.
Unless they're some sort of freak prodigy, but even then, they're probably, they evolve. It's what humans do. Like.
Yeah. I think that's another thing about being a coach as well, is like trying to get people to understand that they're not going to be able to do the things that you can do. Even though they might see that you are doing this and that, they won't be able to do that for maybe a few years.
And they might never like have to go do that.
Yeah.
That's
they
one
might
thing that
never
always
want
confuses me, where it's like someone will see me like, I kind of made it my mission to get really flexible because it's really funny when people see a man of my size doing like the splits. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, you were born that way. I'm like, yeah, me and my little petite dancer frame is perfectly designed for flexibility. But then people are like, oh, but you're going to want me to do that. I'm like, no, if you can like get down and pick a kid off the floor, that's all I want.
Yeah.
That's the shit that you need. You don't need to like roundhouse a 7-foot-tall man in the face. It's,
And I think that's part about being a good coach as well, isn't it? Is like understanding what level your own clients are at.
No, I think someone said to me years and years ago, it's like, don't try to create a mini you. Like, stop trying to hold people to your standards.
Yeah.
And I think you see it so much with like, not the shit on PTs, but like kind of your classic high street gym PT, where like they want to just the person to do whatever their workout is, and then the person gets wrecked and doesn't want to do it. They kind of hold them to their standard, and it's like, they're not though. Like, they have their life. Like, it's probably the biggest thing I do when I train people is ask them a shit ton of questions.
Yeah.
I'm like, what works for you?
What
What's
do
the
you
thing
like?
you do? What, like, how often can you work out? What's the things you enjoy doing? What's like your goal? And it's like a lot of the times people are like, I never thought about this stuff, or like, no one's ever asked me this. And you're like, why? Like, they should have been.
But I think that's why we'll probably last a lot longer as coaches, because we're so much more open to coaching people in a variety of ways. That's kind of like spice of life.
It's true. Sadly, it's not like the most profitable of methods. Cause
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, I always say to people, it's like my goal should be to like eliminate the need for me. I should be able to teach someone like here's the things that you came to me for. If you want to continue, cool, but like we won't need to after X amount of time. And I think it's like a lot of people are like, oh, you just do this. I won't tell you why, but just do this.
Totally get
and you're like, yeah, but why is this person doing that thing?
Yeah.
Like, what is the benefit for them? Like,
yeah, like if you get them to like squat properly, then they should be able to squat properly for the rest of their lives, not just for this one session.
And then someone's like, oh, why do I need to squat? And then you explain to them like, oh, you can squat down and pick up your kid. That's why you do it. Or you can squat down and get something off a low shelf.
Yeah.
It's like, it's those little things that you explain to people like, oh, okay. Like I do like 3 mobility things I focus on for most of like my kind of standard office work with people or whatever. It's like, you touch your toes, can you squat down, and can you reach your arms over your head? That's it. They're like, oh, you make me do this thing, that thing. I'm like, no, if you can do those 3 things, you're probably going to be all right for most of your life. Like,
Yeah.
if you can tie your shoes, you can get something off a low shelf, and you can pick something off a high shelf, you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's just basics, like, isn't it?
Yeah. But people always want to focus on the cool, glamorous shit.
Yeah, that always happens. I'll try to I'll do like in the majority of my sessions it will be always like pretty basic, like that, like squat, a hinge, something single leg, and then like a hang maybe. Then after that, then just spice it up a little bit. Throw a little bit of boxing in there.
Do the things you love. I remember someone saying it to me a while ago. It's like give them the things they need whilst giving them the things that they want, because often they are not the same thing.
Exactly what I do. Yeah.
Because it's like a good example. I was teaching a boot camp a while ago, and like so many people were like, oh, they want this to be like more boot campy and more intense and all. I'm like looking around the room and you're like, okay, so you want me to give you like 100 push-ups when half you can't do a push-up?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like I'd much rather work to those people who need to do it, and then like half people stop showing up anyway after the first class. So you're like, oh fuck, was I changing all this for you guys?
But it's good that you stick to your own like ethos, and you didn't change it just to suit the
it's like
majority of people.
So many people, the things that they really need are not the things that they're like, oh, I gotta do this thing or whatever. It's like we take time. Like your body just doesn't change like that overnight. You got to put in so much time and effort to do the shit that you need. And people just are like, oh, but I want to get thin in 6 weeks. And
Yeah, 12-week transformation,
beach
please.
bod. So much of it's like, yeah, stop eating shit. The body's going to change pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But like, actual long-term changes take time. So one thing I always say to people is like, give me 3 months. That's like the minimum set amount of time.
Yeah. I don't give anybody a period of time actually, because I just like working with people for a long period of time.
I'd much rather work with you for however long it takes. But
Yeah.
some people are like, oh, I need this thing by then. You're like, no.
Yeah, most of my clients are in the year or a few years now at this stage, like, because you just build up such a good relationship with them as well, don't you?
Yeah, you make friends. Like, and that's the important part. Like, if you're a dickhead to them, they won't want to keep coming back. If you're going in like shouting at them, screaming at them. I don't know about you, but like, you ever have someone come to you and like, oh, you're going to be shouting at me, tell me to do this thing? I'm always like, no.
Yes, I have, but I actually don't work with those clients. I actually turn them away.
Yeah, I'm the
because
same.
I'm like, you just have to try to find that like intrinsic motivation yourself to train.
Yeah, it's like
so
if
I'm
I
not
have
going
to shout at you,
you,
it's like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to train, why are you coming to train?
Yeah.
Like, I can get really excited. Like, I just checked into the hotel. The first thing I did, it's like, what they got in that gym over there? Poking my head in. Like, you got nothing good in here? It's like, that's the little shit that excites me. I'm like, oh, where is there parking about? Like,
Yeah, what do they have?
it doesn't have to be like, you should want to do stuff. You shouldn't have to like, be forced into
Yeah, exactly.
the shit that makes you happy.
I think that's part of our job as well, is to make it interesting for someone so that they want to come in.
But I think it's actually John said it, where it's like once you accept that fitness is a completely made up concept, then you can start to understand what it is you're meant to do with it. I think some people are like, oh, I have to do this thing and that thing. It's like, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Just fuck about.
That's what we do with our clients. Did you hear that?
It's a technical term. So nice in this stuff.
So
So yeah, what are you up to these next few days?
I
Anything
am.
interesting coming up?
Well, I'm actually heading to Canada. I forgot about that.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm going to do the FRC
Oh, nice.
and actually meet up with some of the peeps from Online Movement University.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I was going to try do that in October.
Yeah, I
think
saw
over in
that.
Liverpool, but I think a friend's after paying for me to go away, so I don't think I'll do that instead.
Yeah, I was like, will I go to Liverpool or will I just go to Toronto? And I was like, yep, Toronto it is.
Yeah, any excuse.
So yeah, I'm just going there for 10 days to do the FRC, chill out, meet some more movement people, which will be cool.
Yeah, that's like one of the ones really top of the list. It's like such an interesting system. Like.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that and getting more of kind of systematic view on mobility, because I haven't really had like that kind of system. Like, I've done it with gymnastic bodies before, but still it's not as intricate as FRC.
The hows and whys is just do these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the far more interesting questions I think for a lot of stuff is the hows and whys of things.
Yeah, to have I'll have a deeper understanding of why I'm doing mobility exercises with somebody. So yeah, can't wait to it.
Amazing. I think it's a nice spot to wrap up on. Unless you want to like throw out some shout outs to people.
No, I think I'm good.
Excellent. Thank you
Thank
so much.